Hello and welcome. My name is Raja and I'm the Technical Director here at Wonks. Today we are going to talk about the Google Analytics 4 interface, which you may have noticed is quite different than the Universal Analytics interface or all the old analytics. So we are going to go through what are the basics in the interface, what you can adjust, and there are a lot of, I would say, Easter eggs in between that you can improve and get insights from the data. So I'll share my screen with you now. If you see my screen, you should be able to see the interface for Google Analytics. I'm using Wonks as a client for today. So the first page you see here is the home page, which actually gives you a bit of an overview of where things have been, a nice chart to show you the data, some good metrics up there, some recently accessed reports that you can quickly click on and go to. So it makes it a little bit easier for the user interface to go through different reports. And some default reporting here as well, some insights that you could see. Yeah, so it's pretty basic, standard, what you can see in this particular report. Next one is your reports. That is your big reports where all the reports are put together. So in here, the first one is your report snapshot, which gives you understanding of similar metrics, similar widgets, some insights, which can actually trigger. For example, if something is unusual, something is not usually that happens. So you can actually have a quick insight check on this as well. Where your campaigns are coming from, where you track new users are coming from, all that information has been given to you in a handful and understanding here. So the next one that I see in here is the real-time report, which is quite similar to your Universal Analytics report. So this actually looks at data in the last 30 minutes. So do not worry if you see you're only one person on the website and it's at the middle of the night as well, and it says there are 50 people. This report is looking at last 30 minutes of users, so which is not typically just right now, real time. So this particular report will give you where they are at, what pages they are looking at, what events they are going through, all of that information. So you may see on the left-hand side, there are some default reporting. For example, lifecycle, user, some other reporting could be there as well. We have a custom report in there for lead generation, which we have connected with Google Ads. So this all can be customizable. So this is where the main element of GA4 kicks in. It actually helps you to adjust the reporting how you would like to see it. So it's not a default reporting. It's not very well with the default expect, but it can do wonders if you know what you want to track, what your KPIs are, and all the reporting can be adjusted how you want to see them. So first of all, if I go to some default reporting, if you see under acquisition here, every main report will have an overview report and then there are detailed report. So for example, this is an overview report of acquisition and there are two detailed report in there for user acquisition and traffic acquisition. So under user acquisition, this is when they understand the first time user, when the first time user was acquired. So this report can be quite different to your traffic acquisition because traffic acquisition report is based on sessions, but the user acquisition is based on the user data. So when you are in the user acquisition or in the traffic acquisition report, you will see some default channels which are bringing traffic to your website. I have personally found if you do not like the default channels, but they currently have with the GA4, you can go back by selecting to source and medium, which makes things a little bit more clearer. And sometimes the traffic from paid advertising, from organic advertising, will typically can go to unassigned traffic as well, because Google is still manipulating or understanding where this traffic is coming from. So it will take some time. So it's a lot more easier and a lot more time focused if you want to just use the source and medium from here as well. So regarding the channels, if I go back, you can actually now finally be able to update these channels as well. So for example, you have a Google My Business channel that you want to track in there, or you have a custom email database or a custom email platform that you use that you want to name it as automated or the manual emails that you're sending. So all of that can be adjusted based on the UTM parameters now. So we have the capacity to adjust the namings for these channels for you. If I go back to the source and medium back again, you will see very default metrics here. So for example, user sessions, then there is engagement rate, which is quite different to bounce rate. So it's basically reverse of bounce rate. Bounce rate used to be if the user has not come to the website and not did anything else, not go to any further pages, not clicked on any elements, then that person has bounced. But engagement rate, as soon as they interact, they go to next pages, the engagement rates improves. So more the engagement rate, the better. Bounce rate was the other way around. The lower the bounce rate, the better. So you see this particular report here, which is about events. So this event, there are some default events that all GA4 account tracks, but there are obviously some custom events that you can implement how you want to track them. So for example, there are events called first visit, page view, scroll, session start. All of them are default. And the click, for example. One we have done is book a pulse form. We have a form on the website or contact form or a phone number link click. So these are part of our custom tracking that we have enabled. So when I see, for example, first visit, this particular report will filter itself, which it will tell me where all the first visits are coming from. If I go to only show me phone number link click, you will see where the phone number link clicks are coming from. All that information here. And if you see particular this report here, there is also a revenue report. Wonks does not obviously sell online products, so we do not have an e-commerce website. So we will never use a revenue metric in this particular report. What you can do now is you can go to this particular customized report button here. If I go in there, you will see there are some dimensions and some metrics. I click on metrics and I can remove the total revenue part from it and go apply. So now it will tweak the report a little bit of how I want it. It will not show me that report. So if I go to save changes to current report and save it, and once it's been loaded, which is a little bit slower than your universal analytics, but the loading takes a little longer than that. If I go back, now your acquisition report, traffic acquisition report will only show until conversions and no revenue data. It could be the other way around, that you only want to see the revenue data and you do not want to see the other report. So that's what the basic interface is for now. There are certain ways, for example, if you go to source and medium and there is a referral that is coming up, for example, what we've typically seen in e-commerce clients, that their payment gateway will be counted as a referral, and that's where all the revenue is aggregated. So there is a setting in Google Analytics 4 that you can remove that referral from reporting, so that does not affect it actually comes from a genuine traffic source and not just the payment gateway. And then sometimes you want to say, for example, I only want to see the organic traffic. So you can use a search functionality here, search for organic on the top, and it will show you all the channels or all the search engines which are bringing traffic. And there is an option for secondary dimension here that you can select. For example, I want to see what is the age range for each channel that is bringing traffic. Doesn't show me data. Maybe it's not there. Maybe I go to the country one. So that's a secondary dimension. So you see all those different countries which are bringing traffic to our website. Yeah, so you can also add some filters here. So for example, I only want to see age, maybe not a relevant, but I only want to see when the users are coming from New Zealand. You go and apply that. And now all the data is actually filtered for you for the New Zealand only. So you can remove that particular filter here. And if you want, you can actually also do comparisons. So for example, you have this report, edit comparison here. So you click on that, you add a new comparison, only say, show me the country when the traffic is from New Zealand, and then add a new condition if you want to, of their new users or their returning users, all of that. You go apply. Now you have the same report segmented into two different parts here. So your CPC, your Google Organic, when they are coming from different, includes New Zealand. So you see that report, includes New Zealand goes 0, but other users are 75. Includes New Zealand is 593 here, 593 here. So you can use some comparison reporting there as well. So that can be a little bit easier for you to drill down into your reports. Yeah, so that's on the traffic acquisition. What else I see here is your engagement report, which tells you about the events that you're currently tracking. So these are, I mentioned, these are some default events. I'll just remove the comparison part from here. There are some default events. There are some custom events. So for example, user engagement, first visit, this is a default one. Scroll is a default one. Phone number link click is the custom one that we have implemented. And similarly, whichever event you think is a conversion, you convert or change the settings to me reporting them in your conversions as well. So these are the 3 conversions that we want to see. Another report that I see in here is monetization, which is not relevant again for WebWonks because we are not an e-commerce client. So that is where we can make the changes. So for example, if I go to library here and I see these are the lead generation report that we have currently connected, a lifecycle report, which includes the monetization one, and a lifecycle, another one that I see. So what I see here is I can do is I go into that particular report and go edit, and I can now remove that monetization part and save it because monetization will never be relevant for this particular website. So once I save it, making sure it is saved, go back, and now that particular lifecycle report actually is moved from our reporting here. So go back to reports again. There are actually 2, because when I was looking at that library, there were a couple of lifecycle reports that were there. So for example, there are 1, 2, 3 lifecycle reports, which I do not need. So basically, I can go and unpublish 2 of them. So that has been unpublished. So just making sure it's loading now. So yeah, it says unpublished now, and I can unpublish another one. So go and unpublish another one because they're basically the same reports. That's when that one is unpublished. When that loads, maybe this is the default one that I cannot unpublish. Maybe I'd unpublish this one. For some reason, there are still gimmicky things that doesn't work every time. So I'll just refresh the page just to give you give it a hard refresh of where things are at. Going back now, it looks like it has removed all the other ones as well. So see, so that's what it actually does. Sometimes I can go back to the library and go back to the report again. So let's put this one back. So go publish this one. And once that is done, I'll only do it once this time. I'll refresh the page. You should be able to see that lifecycle report back into it, but there is no monetization report now. So this is where you can create a lot of new reports. There are options for you to create a new report here. For example, as I mentioned, there are overview report or detailed report. So you can either go and click at the detailed report and you can see all the default reports that are available that you can further improve in your reporting, or you can start with a blank report or however you want to know. So these are quite, I think, insightful and useful for you, how you want to do your reporting. And this is where GA4 packs a punch in ahead of Universal Analytics because Universal was like very standard and very same for pretty much every account that we come across, unless there is some custom tracking on it. But GA4 is going to be quite different to what we see from website to website because it needs to align the reporting of how you see the reporting or how you want to see the reporting, what KPIs are important for you. So that's where WebWonks can actually help you drill down further into your reporting, into your KPIs, or how you calculate them, how you capture them month on month, week on week, year on year for your reporting, and that's where we can do that. I hope you found this particular tutorial useful, and please let us know if you have any further questions. Cheers, thank you, bye.